What's your reaction to President Biden saying that he's pushing Israel to get out of Gaza, and then today the White House saying, no, there's no change in policy?
Well, look, Israel is a rock-solid ally of ours. They're the strongest ally we have in the Middle East. As president, I will stand with Israel in word and in deed, in public and in private. And what Joe Biden is doing, he's got a schizophrenic policy, because he first said he was for Israel, then he's got his far left who doesn't like Israel, so he's kind of bouncing back and forth, and behind the scenes, they're doing a lot to try to kneecap Israel. The October 7th attack represented more Jews being killed than at any time since the Holocaust. Israel's not just fighting a run-of-the-mill enemy, they're fighting an enemy that wants a second Holocaust, that wants to wipe them off the map. So not only they have a right, they have a responsibility to protect their people and end Hamas once and for all. So as president, they're going to have my support. They're in a very tough neighborhood, but they are a strong and valued ally of the United States of America.
So, Governor, last night we had Nikki Haley here, the former governor of South Carolina, and at one point she said, in terms of the broader foreign wars issue, and there is a divide in your party over this. Some people feel that there's too much money going to these foreign wars. They don't like it. She basically said that you have become an isolationist. Let's watch a little bit of what she said.
I will never do things based on a poll. We do it when we know it keeps Americans safe, and we do it when we know it prevents war. I think that DeSantis is wrong for calling this a territorial dispute. I think that Trump has copped out because he used to get it right, and now he's turning around and he's getting it wrong, wanting to be an isolationist. We need to remember that America always needs friends.
What do you say to that? And do you support the goal of winning in Ukraine, pushing Russia out of the country? And will you go with them that whole distance?
Well, first, I mean, it's tough for me to take something from somebody that goes to another state and then says Iowa's votes need to be corrected. I found that to be deeply offensive. I've traveled to all 99 counties. I've met folks here in Iowa. Folks here represent the best of America. They're patriotic, hardworking, God-fearing. That's what we need to engineer a comeback of this country. So she can swoop in here and try to do that, but what she did was wrong. Here's the issue. We have a lot of challenges in national security. One is our own southern border. And you have people like Nikki Haley that care more about the Ukraine border than she does about our own border here in the United States. How can you be a sovereign country and let in 8 million people from all over the world, including people that are affiliated with terrorist groups, and we know that, and yet send another $100 billion? That'll be $200 billion that they've sent out overseas while ignoring problems at home. Second, the number one threat to this country in terms of foreign is China. Biden is not doing anything to deter China. My posture as commander-in-chief, and I'm the only one that served in the military, and I'll be the first president elected since 1988 that's actually served in a foreign war, and I'm a Navy guy. We need more naval power in the Indo-Pacific to be able to deter China's ambitions, not just for Taiwan, but getting out of the first island chain. We're the only ones that are going to be able to have the hard power to deter them. Now, if I could snap my finger, I'd give all of that territory back to Ukraine. Russia had no right. They had no right to go into Crimea in 2014 or Donbas. And what they've done now is wrong. At the same time, they're sending your money to do things like pay salaries for Ukrainian bureaucrats. They're paying pensions for retired Ukrainian government workers. Is that America's role to be doing that? I don't think so. Now, on a military perspective, I'm going to be a good ally to those who are allied with us. And so those European countries, they're good allies of ours, but they're not pulling their fair share. They're not pulling their weight with respect to NATO. You only have a third of the countries that are meeting their obligations of 2% or more GDP. So I think we need to have an end game to stop this. I think we need to work with the Europeans for them to do more. I am willing to work with them because we have military relationships to help to do that. But we can't just have a blank check, and we can never send American troops over to fight in Ukraine.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.